Hello, I see we have Kyle as an attendee, Jeremy as a participant. So far, so good, I think. I'm also signed in as co-host on my laptop so that I can just kind of make sure the screen looks like it ought to look, because my screen does not look like that right now. I always get nervous. And I made it so that Kyle can talk if he wants to. I love this kind of power.
There we go. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, perfect.
All right. So Jeremy, as a panelist, you will be able to see the chat and see if people raise hands, but you'll need to be looking at the attendees tab on the participants list. Like if you expand participants, you'll be able to see it.
Yep, I see the two columns there.
Okay. Angie, I see you popped in as an attendee as well. Thank you for coming. So far, there are no non-food bankers, so we can still talk freely. I think Marilyn was going to work on the chat, but Jeremy, you can always also keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it and try to bring it to the group's attention.
All right. Towards the end, we have the polls and Q&A. So if it's possible, we'll wait until then to answer questions. But if something pops up that looks pressing, I guess go with it.
Sounds good.
Yep.
This is happening. Kyle and I got to test the video earlier today, and we learned some things. So we found the least choppy option. And hopefully it will look great to everybody, or almost great, or just 2 seconds behind great.
That's awesome.
I think
It's a great video.
Yes, it is. All of them are great. So I'm looking forward to sharing them. All right. So I have the participant list up and it's not causing a black screen. It's still not causing a black screen. Kyle, do you see a black screen?
No, I don't. And it weirdly got brighter when that stuff started playing. I don't know why, but
Oh, that's weird.
it looks good. It's just, it was like dim and then it was bright.
Huh. Okay, interesting. I wonder if I just didn't let it continue to fade in. Oh boy. Let's hope there's not that much throat clearing today. All right. No black screen. I'm going to open the chat and see. Does that cause a black screen?
No, it looks good. It just is the same asset screen.
I even put Slack on top of it.
I wonder why it was doing it earlier then.
I wonder if it's because I'm sharing the file directly from Zoom rather than sharing my screen.
Oh,
I don't know. But I'm excited because I am highly distracted. Highly likely to open something else while I'm waiting for a video to end. All right. This is like the volunteer phone drive, where at first there was nothing happening. It was super quiet. And then all heck broke loose.
I was gonna say, then it just went nuts. Are you still at work, Liz?
Yeah, I figured it was safer from here.
Yeah.
I think we're picking up some audio on your end, Liz. From I'm not sure if anyone next door is having a conversation. It's very faint, but you can't hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that if I'm talking, it'll be distracting, or do I kind of cut it out when I'm speaking?
I think we'll cut it out when we're speaking. If there's just any, like, say, dead air in between videos or something, I suppose it may pick up. But yeah, I just noticed that when it was quiet here for a couple seconds.
Okay.
Hey,
Hey, a new panelist has joined. Welcome, Malik.
welcome. Well, not welcome. Thank you.
It's
All
like
right.
telling my server to have a good night too. I know that they're not going to.
Is there anything you need me to have queued up on here as like an emergency backup? Do you want me to have like videos queued or anything like that, just in case? Just a,
I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
okay.
So Kyle and I tested the videos earlier in a fake webinar.
Okay, so they're all good.
They seem to be all of the options, whether it was streaming on YouTube or playing locally, they all had a bit of lag no matter what, but some were definitely better than others.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's gonna probably playing it straight off your computer is best. 'Cause,
Yes.
yeah.
And playing it from a file rather than like playing it from video rather than sharing screen was best too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool.
All right. Well,
Where it could be.
I'm going to start up this video in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to go on mute while people start filtering in.
I'm gonna mute too, but I will be around.
Sounds good.
Hello, everyone. Just giving it a few more seconds for folks to log in. For all of our attendees, if you have questions that you want us to bring back up in the Q&A section at the end, just pop them into the chat and we'll have folks monitoring that. So you can put them there when you think about them and we'll get to them at the end. That was way too big. I had to switch back to gallery, folks. Thanks. All right. Well, we'll get started, and anyone who comes in late, that's just fine. Welcome, and on behalf of our entire One Team, thank you for joining us for our November virtual volunteer update. For those who may not know me, I'm Elizabeth Garabrandt, Director of Volunteer Services for the Mid-Ohio Food Collective. I celebrated my 20th year with MOFC this year, and I can say that it's been a heck of a journey. It's never been boring, and it's always been rewarding. Thanks in large part to you. The world can be a scary place, but I get to see firsthand just how many people are willing to work together and make it better and brighter. For that, for keeping my faith in humanity, and for all that you do to end hunger on top of that, I offer my sincerest thanks. So throughout the many twists and turns we've navigated since our last update, we managed to bring some new faces into the fold. Next up, we'll share a quick video featuring two of our newest hires, both formerly assigned to us through their service with the Ohio National Guard. Nick Bocher from our food sorting team and Denver Burkhart from our on-site community pantry team. Take a listen as they share their stories from the past year.
My name's Nick Bocher. I'm a corporal in the Army National Guard. I'm in 148th ACO of the 37th Combat Brigade, and I just started here about almost 2 months ago.
My name is Captain Denver Craig Burkhart. I'm a captain in the Ohio Army National Guard. I'm in Bravo Battery 1, 134 FA Regiment, 37th IBCT.
I think when we joined the National Guard, we want to serve our communities and our countries. And sometimes that presents itself in untraditional ways. The food bank certainly wasn't something I think anyone was expecting, but it was just so rewarding, and what it provided to my experience in the National Guard and being able to actually see the impact that we were making in our communities. And I didn't want to stop once the Guard pulled us out, so I decided to apply after that and just keep it going.
Like I said, at the beginning of the pandemic in March 2020, we were quickly working to play catch up, and there's a new process. People used to come in through the pantry, and now it's a drive-through system, and it helps us serve a broad spectrum of clients. It's just really nice to see how much people that we're actually supporting every single day. It's between 600 to 800 people that we're able to serve, and it's a really nice feeling to be able to give back to the community and those in need. I just had got off active duty. I was looking for my purpose afterwards, and it found me, so I didn't really have to look too long because I got pulled onto the orders here, and it wasn't something that I knew about. It wasn't something that I had researched. Just kind of got lucky and fell in my lap.
Over 200,000 soldiers on average transition from active duty military to civilian life. And this is a make or break point for a lot of these soldiers. Soldier suicide has taken more lives than combat has throughout the last 20 years. Drug addiction and alcohol, these are demons that haunt a lot of these veterans who are coming out of active duty service that aren't able to find a mission to continue working for. They have a purpose in the military, and when they leave it, they can't find a new mission to dedicate themselves to. And, with the food bank, it's such an easy mission to be able to strive for, to apply yourself towards, that, I think it's one of those opportunities that is perfect for someone coming off of active duty to be able to apply those skills that they've learned of being on a team and being a leader and working in adverse environments and, adapting and overcoming. So the food bank has just been great at doing that.
In the military, we always say one team, one fight, and I love hearing one team here, and I see it here, how this is just one big team, one big family. I see it through all what we do every single day, and I also see the events that we host, and it's a really awesome working environment.
Before I started here a few years ago, I worked at the YMCA. So I had been working for nonprofits that contributed to the community in the past, and I hadn't realized it, but the food bank actually donated to my YMCA for the summer feeding program. So local kids in our community would get meals cooked by the Kids Cafe, and we'd hand them out. I had no idea it was from the food bank, but that was probably the first time I had interacted with you guys. And then it was just funny how I ended up here.
It's awesome to be an employee here. To me, it means I'm able to serve 600 to 800 families every single day so that no one goes hungry. Sometimes you get those toys, and one time I had a Captain America action figure, and I got to give it to a little boy, and to see the smile on his face, that's the things that makes you want to keep doing this.
We're trained to fight, and we're trained to win, right? But in regards to hunger, it's not something that you can just beat. It's something that's ongoing, something that we are constantly fighting against, and it takes everybody to step up and do their part in that fight to help overcome it. It's not something that we can do by ourselves, frankly, and it's going to take the entire community coming together. It's really been eye-opening to see just how much the Guard was filling in and how much help you guys still need. It's just been an experience of being able to truly understand, how much we do need our volunteers, especially. You guys had a campaign a few months ago calling the troops back in after we were dismissed. And it's cool to see people stepping up and showing up and doing the work that's required, and being a part of that has been incredible. What I would tell the volunteers that might be interested and contributing their time or a donation, or maybe even ramping up the amount of time that they are currently spending with us, is it's worth it. What you are putting into this organization feeds out into this community in such a tangible way that you're going to just leave feeling so much better every single day. Jobs I've had in the past, I wake up and I'm like, oh man, another day of work. But when I wake up to come here, I'm excited. I'm happy, I'm motivated, I'm ready to get started, and I'm ready to help some people. And I would love for you to be able to experience that yourself. Waking up, showing up here, and making that difference, because you're gonna make it. When you show up here, you see what you do. You handle the food that are feeding people. You fill up their cars. You hand your Captain America dolls, action figure, to the child. It's incredible. So try it, and I promise you'll wanna buy it.
Without your help, we can't do what we do. We need you.
You're muted.
Oh man, I've never been caught before. Thanks, Matt. We're so happy to have these two on our team. If you're scheduled to volunteer in food sorting or in the pantry, you're likely to run into Nick or Denver. So don't hesitate to say hi or welcome them aboard. And now I'm pleased to introduce the true visionary behind this work, our president and CEO, Matt Habash. If you don't know Matt yet, he became executive director of Mid-Ohio Food Bank in 1984, 37 years ago. Makes my 20 look pretty small. That year, the food bank distributed 6 million pounds of grocery products. By 2020, the food bank connected more than 75 million pounds of food to our neighbors, about half of which was fresh food, produce, meat, bread, dairy, all part of our Food is Health strategy. That's impressive growth, but Matt's real goal, his real dream all along, has been to go out of business. In 2017, the food bank shifted its core mission to ending hunger, a fundamental change in strategy to feed people every day while working every day to address the root causes of hunger. All right, I will stop and mute again. Matt, it's over to you.
Thanks, Liz. And I'm not sure I can follow Nick in Denver in that video. I mean, that is just an impressive two young men that have, I think are embodied of what the amazing team is. I get credit for the vision, but it's the team I have that carries this out day in and day out across our entire building space, all the ideas and things. And I've got an amazing group of people, including two people on my screen that I'm looking at, Liz and Jeremy. I'm in between the two of them, so on my screen. But I really just want to say thanks to them as well, and thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. We talked a lot. We had a board meeting this morning, and we were talking a lot about, we're still in a marathon, and we may be still running this at a sprinter's pace. I would hope it would slow down slightly, but just seems like it's going to continue. We're seeing a lot. I got asked by the board today, how are we looking at, things like inflation and the impact that's going to have? And I said, it's having a big impact already. Every one of us on this call are feeling the price increases somewhere. Now imagine you're on a fixed income, and what those kind of prices do. So hunger is continuing to show up in our community. Pandemic only exacerbated that need, and it really exposed the fragility of our social systems to meet basic needs. Since the onset of COVID, we have had more than 1.8 million visits to partner agencies in our network across our 20 counties in central and eastern Ohio. It was by more than 240,000 families. In Franklin County right here, you've had 1.1 million visits, 162,000 families. That's a big shift over the last several years. We've gone from what we used to say was a 50-50 split between Franklin and our other 19 counties, and now it's almost 2/3 Franklin County, 1/3 the rest of our counties. The amazing thing since March of 20 is new customers alone have surpassed 85,000 families. Think about that for a minute. Those who have never asked for food before, at least in this decade or so, since we've been collecting the data. And in Franklin County, that number is 58,000 families. So to all the people that are, helping at every pantry across our 20 county footprint, I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's making sure that families that need our help get it. And I think that's why we are so heavily dependent on volunteers. We know we can't end hunger, by food banking alone. And that's why we always say hunger doesn't work in isolation. We try to meet our customers where they are and based on their pathways to us. I think if there's one thing that I've been talking a lot about over the last few years, it's really to let go of judging. Stop judging poor people and just help. And I think if we'd all step into that space, we would have a much stronger community and country. All of this work takes volunteer power to see it through. And at this time of our last update, we still had the Ohio National Guard standing in for our volunteers, helping to keep everyone safe while keeping up operations and meeting the increase in demand. The National Guard was decommissioned in early July, so we had them for 15, 16 months, something like that. And while we were grateful for all they had done for us, we're anxious about how we would carry on with all the uncertainty still surrounding everyone. They got decommissioned, and then here comes a variant, and all of a sudden we're going back up and spiking back up, and we thought we were going to be sliding into this change, and it's been a roller coaster ride. We've been wondering, would businesses return to work and then let their groups volunteer? Would schools return to normal in the fall, allowing parents to help out during the day? The good news is that our fantastic team of volunteers, including many of you on this call, have started to return. While we're still very far from the finish line, we are given hope each time we fill a shift and when we check in the day's volunteers at our front desk. Those of you who have been able to return have put in more hours than ever before. Even with a smaller crew, we were able to get nearly 50,000 hours of work done in the last 12 months, thanks to the dedication and tenacity of our volunteers. That is unbelievable. And to all of you, thank you from every one of our teammates, here at the collective. We can't do this without you. And there's a lot of people in this community getting food because of each and every one of you taking the time to volunteer. To know that after all this happened, you're still here for us, it really is humbling. And I can tell you it's very inspiring. In September, during Hunger Action Month, our volunteers were spotlighted in news stories and some video clips. We're going to share a couple of those now for those of you who may have missed them when they were shown originally.
Having a place to go when you don't know where your next meal is coming from. The Mid-Ohio Food Collective is that place, and there's so much more. Now, since the pandemic hit, they're serving 15% more people in need with no end in sight. Like most charities, the Food Collective is short on volunteers. If they just had more helpers like young Tom Dre.
Here, let me have one of these.
I got you.
Okay.
81-year-old Tom Dre seems to have found his new love.
Why here?
Well, I like the idea of volunteering where you're helping people.
He found the Mid-Ohio Food Collective in April. Staying safe at home in the pandemic wasn't healthy.
When you sit around and think about things like that too much, it really brings on depression. So I didn't want that to happen.
Tom had already lost a lot.
We were married for 55 years, and we'd just renewed our vows about 6 weeks before she passed away.
Tom's wife, Joan, used to volunteer at a soup kitchen that shut down during the pandemic. Feeding the hungry runs in the family.
It gave me a tour of the place, and I started the following Monday. I've been here ever since.
4 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Tom is amazing. Tom always comes in with a great attitude. He comes in, does what he can, and as you can see, you know, he enjoys himself.
Maybe I should start singing?
Start singing, Dave.
Dancing?
Sounds like it's doing as much for you as it is for others.
It is. It definitely is. Maybe more. It's hard to judge.
3 years in the Army, 19 years active duty in the National Guard, 15 years as a warehouse worker. This is Tom's resume builder, full-time volunteer.
It's a great job. And yeah, it's something I don't want to give up soon.
His first love would approve.
She would be happy.
Doing more with less. It's something many people have become accustomed to in the working world, especially since the pandemic hit. But for the Mid-Ohio Food Collective, their lack of volunteers is coupled with a huge increase in need. I got to chat with a couple of those working hard to keep up and hoping to motivate more people like you to join the ranks.
Well, I was working full time, and so it was a little bit difficult to volunteer at a lot of places for that reason, but the food bank had room on Saturday mornings.
Lois Moore says a small mention in her Grove City newspaper is what sparked her interest in the Mid-Ohio Food Collective nearly 10 years ago. Yes, she has logged more hours than most with volunteer status, but assures me she loves every minute of it.
Well, for one thing, it's just plain fun. When we come and do sorting and packing, it's high paced. I walk out of here and I feel as though I've had some physical exercise. I see the same people every Tuesday, which is a lot of fun. We have rotating people, but there's a little group of us that are always here on a Tuesday, so we have this little reunion every week. So it's partly that I just plain enjoy it, and it's partly that I really believe in it.
She is dedicated, obviously, but she also gets the big picture, which includes the need for more volunteers just like her.
The food bank doesn't just want to keep doing what it's doing. It wants to do it more and better and more and better. So a volunteer coming in is going to find a place to serve where they're really needed.
It's why Roy Bertassi keeps coming back too. For him, it started shortly after he retired and realized he missed people.
I was looking for a little interaction with people and to help out the community that's been very good to me for the last 40 years.
Roy does a lot of his work in the sorting and packing area of the warehouse. Just check out how efficient he is at making boxes. Those boxes are used for things like portioning out food for those coming in the drive-through pantry and to ship food out to the hundreds of partner agencies relying on the collective. In just under 3 years, Roy has volunteered more than 500 hours.
Used to work just 2 days a week, and when I've gotten emails from food bank saying, hey, we need more people, if it's been a day where I've not had another commitment, I try and make sure that I am here and available to help out.
So let's look at the numbers. Pre-pandemic, the Mid-Ohio Food Collective averaged between 13 and 14,000 volunteers a year, from corporations to private citizens. In 2020, that number dropped to just over 4,000. Meanwhile, they estimate serving about 15% more folks than before COVID. And considering they distribute 75 million pounds of food a year, those mouths make a difference, especially as the growth continues.
But I think especially people may not realize how much the food bank has increased its services in the last year and a half, 2 years. There's not only food going to more people, but there are additional markets being set up to make it more convenient for people. There are ways to volunteer with carry-out food, with after-school things, with cooking classes.
Plenty of room for making a difference, something that doesn't slip by these very selfless people.
I do it just to be able to, help the community interact with people a little bit. But hopefully the people who are getting the food are getting more out of my little bit of effort that I put in. Because it's not that hard to do.
There's nothing more basic than food, and to know that we're helping people not to be worrying about where dinner's coming from is just infinitely satisfying.
It really is people like Tom, Lois, Roy, and all of you who make our work possible. Your support of our work will be even more important as we move into the future. So speaking of the future, moving forward, what does that look like? Well, we're doing a lot of investing in data insights and apps that inform our work and help meet our customers where they are. So what does that mean? Basically, we're taking what was our database tracking system that we had, and really, converting that into an app so that people can look on the app, find out where a food pantry food distribution is, in their own space, and be able to schedule an appointment. They can fill out their own profile. They don't have to go to a social service or agency, a partner, a food pantry, and have the data put in. And then we can also connect them as we continue to develop this to other resources. So when we talk about going upstream and addressing root causes, it's things like this that puts the power in people's hands and makes it very easy. Because for many, 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 many years, people that didn't know where to go to get food to a walk-in food pantry had to call 211 and wait in line on a long, 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 call list until they were serviced, and they may get sent somewhere far away from their home, depending on who had availability at the time they got through. So this way, we hope we can connect them. We hope we can do it when it's convenient. We talk a lot about customer centricity around here, and what does that really mean for us in terms of making sure that our customers, we put them first, and that's what we're trying to do. We have an upskilling tool called ReadySkill. ReadySkill is just getting launched. We've had a partnership. We've been doing some testing nationally with Feeding America. We're partnering with Franklin University. We're going to be working with Columbus State. And it really is around the idea of, connecting people that are looking for work with the skill sets they need to upskill and the human service, social services they need. One of the things I've learned from Dr. Harrison at Columbus State is he said every year 6,000 to 7,000 students drop out after completing one of their 2 years because life happened to them. So if we can intercede in that and really connect people, make sure they have access to food, and make sure that that we can connect them to the child care facilities, to the housing facilities, whatever their issue is, so that we can keep them on a pathway to completing that education and to, as what Dr. Harrison likes to call, their second job, the higher paying one. Those are the kinds of things in the world of data that we're doing. One of the things that I'm really, really excited about, because one of these is right on Columbus State's campus, and that's our Mid-Ohio market strategy. This is around learning from our customers directly who said, that pantry in my neighborhood's wonderful, but it's only open a couple hours a week that I work, and I can't get there and I have to go somewhere else. So learning directly from our customers several years ago, we said, what would it look like if in addition to our fabulous food pantries that we have, that we also could have, these Mid-Ohio markets, and some of these are our partners, where they're going to be open 30 to 40 hours a week, where they look like a grocery store. We got this started and then COVID hit and we had to go to the model that we use right now, put it in the trunk of your car, but it's coming back to the point where people are going to be able to come in and shop. And I'm real excited to announce that we are in the final stages of closing on a very nice facility over on Norton Road. It's about a mile south of Doctors West on Norton Road, just south of St. Cecilia Catholic Church. And it'll be a standalone, wonderful facility for a market and for a lot of wraparound services. we know that's the zip code is 43228 out there on the far west side. We know in any given year, over 5,000 families are coming down to our food pantry right at the food bank, clear into Grove City. If we can keep those folks home, closer to their neighborhood, and encouraging them to come back and get the fresh food, we know we can have positive health outcomes from all of that. We have others in the works. St. Stephen's, which is a community house in Linden's been a long time pantry partner. They're going to convert to a Mid-Ohio market. My Project USA is up on the hilltop. They opened in September. We're real excited about that. We've had one for one of the originals was Reynoldsburg, and Reynoldsburg is so busy, they're looking for bigger space already. So we're going to continue to look at these in the Northland area and South Side area, as well as out in the refugee Hamilton Road area, so that we can have these markets in addition to pantries available for people, so that we know half the people we help work. And this is one way for us to make sure that it's convenient for them, open the hours when they can shop it, whether that's on night or on Saturdays as well. And it's a great opportunity for additional volunteers. We're going to need a lot of them to be open all of those hours. And so for some of you that are driving clear to Grove City, it may make more sense to say, look, I'll work at one of the markets and be the volunteer support that we're going to need for that. So I would encourage that to do that as well. The Mid-Ohio Farm up on the hilltop, we're establishing Edu Farm using technology. This is all not going to be your typical farm. For those of you that may have volunteered for us down at Clearfield, where you had to do a lot of weeding and cutting grass and all of that, there's none of that at this. This is all about high-tech, vertical growing, greenhouse growing. It really is an Edu Farm for kids, but it's really to teach vertical growing, new growing techniques for urban farming. We're excited. We had it running this year. We shut it down for the winter, and we'll be basically building it out with some of the campaign dollars to really establish that. We even got a unique shipping container sitting on our east parking lot down at the food bank in Grove City, sponsored by AEP. And it really is using to grow inside the sea container, the shipping container, grow indoors microgreens throughout the winter months. So it's a really unique, if you're down there, if we can get it open in the days, you can take a look at it. It really is a unique way of growing indoors and able to have some microgreens, at a time when the ground's not ideal in Columbus for growing food. Our food bank in Grove City, we're going to do some upgrades. We paused some of that, but I can tell you some of the things we're going to do with a wonderful gift of American Recovery dollars from Franklin County commissioners. We're going to add about a $7 million freezer building to the back of our facility. We have about 4.5 acres behind the facility, and we're going to add that freezer building there first. We may do some expansions. We're debating on, we're rethinking a lot of that because of COVID and what new work rules look like. Where do we really want our food bank food pantry? It may not be at the building. That may not make sense. It may be at a different location in Grove City. We're not going to make those changes until we get the other markets up and running first. We're also looking to add a kitchen facility. We originally thought that would be at the Grove City location. We may be looking for locations in other parts of the community, or it could be in one of these market locations if we get a big enough building. This is about preparing food and having it ready and available, for people to shop in the markets. We talk about, make the healthy choice the convenient one. We do a lot of after school cooking, summer feeding, those kinds of things, helping with, we've been, ever since the pandemic, we've been cooking meals to serve to the homeless and partnering with folks like Mount Carmel's nursing team to take it to the streets, those kind of things. So we're going to continue a lot of that prepared food. Some of it will go in the market, some of it will go into the feeding sites. Really exciting. For us, that's really, a new way to step into our work. We're climbing back up. We dipped. We used to be up to be about 65% fresh food, and we've dipped back into the 50s because we had to go out and acquire a lot of other products. So when we look at it in total, we were back in the 50-55% range. We're climbing back up over 60 to 65%. We believe we can, continue this fresh food, but we also realize, that none of us go home every night and chop up vegetables from scratch to make that meal. So if we can take some of that food and prepare it, have it chilled, so people can grab some ready to eat foods to take home, and then just have to heat it up. That for us, as busy as everybody is and all the challenges of kids and school and everything else that's going on, we're hoping we can have some healthy options that are prepared food as well, using some of that fresh food. And then our Mid-Ohio Pharmacy Program, this is what really led us to this. We did, several years ago, more than a decade ago, it seems, we started doing diabetes research around some of our customers that were food insecure, and with Bristol Myers Squibb Foundation and Feeding America and Ohio State. And out of the learning of that 3-year study, we saw we could move A1Cs by getting people regular access to fresh, healthy, diabetic-friendly foods. And that's really, at the same time, we led the effort to find the next 1 billion pounds of fresh produce across the United States for food banks, from farmers. Wove those two together, and it really has become our pharmacy prescription program. And that is going really well. We've got a number of new healthcare partners that are coming in, a lot of the insurance managed care organizations that are working in the insurance side of Medicaid, are really stepping into the wellness side and see the value of this. So that those partnerships are going to strengthen our ability to do that, and ultimately track those health outcomes as they get reported back to us from our health partners. We know we're tracking over 30,000 patients just at Primary One Health, and we've now got a number of other partners as well. So we're excited about the opportunity here to really have an impact on people's health. We've kind of repositioned ourselves as a low-cost, high-value healthcare strategy to the healthcare industry, saying healthy food really matters, and if you can't afford to buy it, it's going to have a huge impact on your health. And yet, we can use surplus food in this country to have great health outcomes. So that's what the pharmacy program is, and we're continuing to expand it. But overall, I can't thank all of you enough. Your commitment, your passion, and energy you give to this organization day in and day out to help put food on the tables of those who are struggling. So on behalf of this amazing team I have on our board of directors, thank you to all your volunteers. You are part of the family, and we could not do this without you. With that, I think I'm sending it back to Liz.
Yep, thanks, Matt. Hearing about the future of our work is always my favorite part of these sessions. It's inspiring to learn the many ways we're addressing the issue of hunger and working towards ending it in Central Ohio and across our footprint. And even more so that we'll have the community alongside us making positive change happen. To know that all of that work you just talked about includes you is pretty cool. Well, next up, I'll turn it over to Jeremy Brawning. For most of you, Jeremy will need no introduction. He's been an important part of our volunteer services team for several years, and I'm pleased to announce that he was recently promoted to manager. I look forward to seeing our department grow and evolve as a result. Jeremy, I will pass it to you for our all-important update segment.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz. It's so humbling to be a part of this team and this organization. And speaking of our team, we have grown. Kyle Wonder has recently joined our volunteer services team. And Kyle comes to us with previous experience with Mid-Ohio Food Collective and has already hit the ground running. And Kyle's doing an incredible job from helping us scheduling volunteer teams, individual volunteers, as well as filling in at the front desk. Next time you're in and you see him, please welcome him to our team. He's just been such a great addition. And if you haven't volunteered with us for a while, things look a little different. We have, updated safety guidelines we adopted early on in the pandemic to ensure safety for anyone coming into the building. So that includes staff, temporary workers, volunteers, and visitors. Masks right now are required for anyone entering the building. Increased hand sanitizing stations were installed, and we continue to practice social distancing where possible. And also, as of November 1st, all staff are required to be vaccinated or conduct weekly testing. So let's dive into each of our activities a little bit. So we kind of talked about our pantry a little bit earlier, and for those that have volunteered in the pantry pre-March of 2020, our model has changed quite a bit. You may remember it where folks would come inside and shop. That is no longer the case. We've actually switched our model to be exclusively outdoors. Customers will be able to stay in their vehicle and be able to be checked in that way. And this ensures safety for not only them, but our volunteers and our staff members as well. So our customers never have to exit their vehicle while they're with us. Because of this model, we have opportunities now available both inside, helping assemble groceries and shopping carts through much like an assembly line, or outdoors, helping load these groceries into the trunks of vehicles of our customers. We understand that folks may have a preference, whether it be indoors or outdoors. And with this activity, we're able to accommodate that request. Also, an exciting change for a pantry, we've updated our distribution times. To better serve our customers in the community, our team has expanded hours to include Monday through Thursday evenings. We realize many of you on this call now may still be working or you're in school, and evening hours will likely work a little bit better for you. We hope these new times of 5 p.m. to 8:30 might fit in your schedule. We will continue to monitor the pandemic. We are hoping to switch to a hybrid model where our customers can shop indoors, and this will be sometime in the future for us, hopefully. Quick update from our Mid-Ohio kitchen team. The good news is now most schools have returned to in-school learning, allowing our kitchen team to respond to the needs of the after-school meals through our Kids Cafe team. Volunteers in the Kids Cafe play a pivotal role. They work with our chefs in preparing and packaging these meals for our after-school programs and partners here in the community. And while we're in the season of giving, we want to give a quick update to the team. We would love to host your team in the Kids Cafe. We're actually now able to host teams of 10 volunteers through the holiday season. This usually is around 2 to 3 volunteers. So please let us know, get in while you can for these larger teams. Again, up to 10 volunteers in our Kids Cafe team. This is a great opportunity for folks who love kids, love to cook, or both. This activity is available Monday through Friday for morning and afternoon. We've talked a little bit about our farm, and if you're interested in working outside, boy, we got a great fit for you. Our Mid-Ohio farm on the hilltop is building the farm of the future, as we've talked about. Our goal at the farm will continue to be growing healthy food for our hungry neighbors in the community. And we need your help to do this. We are currently going through some construction and some exciting new renovations to the farm. So we do look forward to hosting you in the space, hopefully there in 2022. And this is also a great opportunity if you have some kiddos. We would love to get them involved and hopefully they can learn that, food obviously is not just coming from the grocery store. There's a lot of work and effort that goes into it. And lastly, for our kind of regular activities we're typically sponsoring, we're always in need of volunteers in our food sorting and packing area. Volunteers in this area help our team in sorting and packing retail donations we receive from those retail partners. So we typically can host teams between 5 and 30. And this is just a great opportunity, especially if you're looking for that team building opportunity. This area would love to host your team, whenever you're thinking about joining us. A couple special events we have coming up. If you're looking for something fun to do Thanksgiving morning, I have the perfect activity for you. We've partnered again with the Thanks for Giving 4-miler. This race takes place in New Albany. The volunteer shift is a little early, starting at 6 a.m., but 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., volunteers will play a pivotal role in helping getting the race set up. And this is just obviously a great way to start your morning, being in community with folks, and all for a good cause, raising funds for the Mid-Ohio Food Collective. Lastly, some exciting news. We've partnered with Keen, and this is a shoe company you may be familiar with. Keen has partnered with us as well as 7 other food banks across the country. So this is a friendly competition amongst those 8 food banks. So you're probably asking, well, what is the competition? Volunteer hours. So between November 30th and December 31st, we are hoping and encouraging our volunteers to go to Keen's website and register your hours, where we will actually provide all of the information in an email, as well as having information on hand where you can actually go to that website to log those hours. The winning organization receives quite a sizable grant, as well as Keen shoes that we can then obviously share with our community. So again, the link and all of the information will be shared out, but you guys here on the call are getting that early access information about that Keen partnership. And lastly, I'd like to thank some of our friends from BESA. I see them on the call here. I want to give you guys a special thank you. They have just been such a wonderful partner of ours through the pandemic, helping us coordinate volunteers for the last 18 months. So thank you guys so much for your effort. And for those that watch NBC4, you may actually see a segment coming up here shortly where we've partnered with our friends from BESA. So again, thank you to our friends from BESA, and thank you to everyone being on the call. I'm just so humbled to be around your love, your energy day in and day out. It's just so incredible to work with you all. So with that being said, I will turn it back over to Liz.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. One other little mini update. So November and December are always incredibly busy months for our volunteers. Not only do we need a large crew to handle the holidays, but the phones are ringing off the hook with people looking for a volunteer shift. There's not as much ringing in January and February. It's a little bit quiet around here. So we'd ask that you please share with friends and family, coworkers, schools, anywhere, that in the beginning of 2022, we'll see us open for business and in need of some helping hands. All right, well, I'd like to spend our remaining time together in learning. If you have any questions for us, please drop them in the chat. And in the meantime, we're going to put up a few quick polls. These questions will just pop up on your screen, and then you simply select the answer that best explains your current situation. And we'll give this a minute or two for folks to finalize their answers, and then hopefully we'll be able to share them out. All right, the first one's just length of service. How long have you been a volunteer with the Mid-Ohio Food Bank then Collective? Do any of you out year me? Ooh, we've got a tie going on here. Well, things have changed. All right, it looks like folks are pretty much done. I'll end the poll. And this is always exciting information. So we've had a pandemic. People were made to stay home in their houses, and yet 35% of you have been here less than a year. So you found us even though there was a pandemic. Of course, the rest of you are just as exciting because you stayed with us and came back even after a pandemic. So I am so excited about that. All right. Let me see how am I supposed to launch the next one? Oh, that's easy. All right, the next one. When are you most available to volunteer with us? If you would have asked me pre-pandemic, I would have said, oh, I know this, I got this. Evenings and weekends are going to be the most popular, and businesses are going to want to come during the daytimes, and people with kids aren't going to be able to do afternoons. But throughout the pandemic, people were working from home, and it wasn't as exciting to come out on an evening or weekend. So we're still trying to learn if that's something that'll stick, or if it'll go back to what I guess normal used to be for us. All right, things are still coming in. I am shocked. I can't wait to share these. No, I've been doing it for 20 years and things haven't changed much. So this is to me a little bit crazy. We're definitely used to seeing evenings and weekends be the #1 slots. When can you open more evenings and weekends? Well, we did open more evenings in the pantry. So hopefully the 18% of you who said they could do that, you'll be able to sign up soon. Thank you for that information. All right. We have been pretty, I'm not going to say obnoxious because that's not the right word, but we really, really, really need people to know that we're open and that we're accepting volunteers and that we are excited to get people back in here to help us out. So you may have seen us on the news, not counting the ones we showed today, in the newspaper, online ads, all kinds of different places. So we're wondering which of those are working. Where are you seeing us? Because I remember a time when we couldn't place everyone who called in to volunteer. We had more volunteers than we had volunteer opportunities. Still more responses coming in. Okay. It looks like People are still watching the news. Online ads are still pretty popular. All right. Thank you for answering. And one last question. We mentioned earlier today that our staff, we have a vaccine requirement that we're being tested. So we're curious about how our volunteers feel about a potential requirement for proof of vaccination. Would it change your mind about volunteering? Would it make you more comfortable volunteering because you know folks you're working with are vaccinated? Or would you be less likely to volunteer? I feel like I should have had a musical interlude for voting, or play the Jeopardy theme song. That would have been next time's wish list. All right. Okay, I think we've got all the answers. And I will share. This is where people are standing right now. We know that every 6 weeks, things change around here with not knowing what the pandemic and the variants are going to do. We know that all of our, the holidays are coming up and people are going to gather, and then we don't know what will happen after that. So thank you for answering and sharing your feelings with us. We appreciate that. All right. Well, I think now we are going to go back to Matt. And then after Matt, we have just a really quick treat. So Matt, are you still with us?
I am. Hold on a second. Just trying to get everything turned back on. Sorry. Again, I really want to thank, everybody. You have our deepest gratitude for all of you do, and and for taking the time this evening. I mean, it's we're all busy, we all got things going on, but I mean, for all of you, and to have all the numbers of people we had on this call and the groups that were represented, and I agree with Jerry. Besa does wonderful work in this community, and we're lucky to have them as a partner as well. But we're going to need each and every one of you. We're trying to figure out the safest way. And one of the things I'm really proud of, the team has worked really hard at, is we have never had to close our operation because of COVID. We had to shut the pantry down one day in the early days when we really hadn't figured out all the rules, and we weren't sure how far we had to go with counting, remotely from where somebody was infected. But we haven't had to shut the operation down. So we work really hard to make this a safe experience for everybody and safe for our team and also our customers. So, but I leave you tonight by asking you to consider you return to work just as soon as you're comfortable. We're going to need your help. We need you now more than ever. I've been at this, as you heard, for a very, very, very long time. And the need's not going to go away. And the reality of it is right now, as inflation continues to impact all of our budgets, just imagine what it's doing to people that are struggling, and it's gas prices going up, food prices going up. We know, our acquiring produce is up 33% in cost, just to bring that produce in that was available. So we're going to have a lot of work to do. We're going to continue at it. We're going to continue this marathon as long as it takes, and we're going to need you to go on that journey with us. So citing new opportunities for you to have a chance to participate, whether it's with us on site, whether it's at the farm, for those of you that commented in the chat about loving the farm, to these great new markets that are going to need a lot of help, and will be great places, because we're going to try to do wraparound services in each one of those. So hopefully that works out as an opportunity for some of you as well. As we wish you a good night, we want to leave you with a little something to lift the spirits and hopefully put a smile on your face. So song, either with, I'm going to leave this up to Liz to deal with.
All right, so I was not able, I was under the weather the last time we had an update, and I tried to tune in and stick in there for the whole thing, and I missed the ending song. So I guess it was great, and I'll have to try to find a clip for it and share, but then it was a challenge this time. Can you outdo that? Can you come up with something relevant and fun to share with folks? And we'll see if we came up with it. If I didn't get your question, I thought we answered all the questions, but if we missed some, just pop them into the chat and we will get an answer for you. In the meantime, please enjoy this video.
The sound that makes...
Well, let me hurry up and rewind that.
Some days are
Well,
hard.
I've already
So I
failed.
made this list of awesome things I'm thankful for. Yeah. Sometimes I need reminding that things are not all that bad. So I wanted to share a few because you guys are my friends. It's great to be alive. And here's some reminders why. First one, bubble wrap. When cats do their tongue, like this. I'm also thankful for the little paw pads that the cats and dogs have and the sound it makes. Paw pads. I love them. Hey, turn that back on. Oh, no. Change it. Ah, there, that's better. Music is magical. It can make anything better. Right music can make a video better. The same goes with life. Singing. I like paw pats. Singing. If something's boring, just sing it, and that will make it better. Watching paint dry. It's really cool. Old people who still hold hands. Clouds that look like stuff. One time I saw a cloud that looked like an airplane, and I realized it was an airplane. Imagination. Without it, we wouldn't have airplanes, no internet, pants. We gotta wear them, because if we didn't, it would be sort of awkward. Pants. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Sleep. Clothes with funny names, like Windbreaker. Birthday cake. No reason at all cake. Just cake. Sorry, we filmed this while I was hungry. Forgiveness. I'm Kid President, but I ain't perfect. Ain't a word. We all mess up. Come on. Don't mess up and forget to forgive all the mess ups. Thankful plants undergo photosynthesis, using the energy from the sun to convert carbon dioxide to oxygen, providing us with the air we need to do things like this. I'm bored. Morgan Freeman's voice. Hello, I'm Morgan Freeman. I'm working on it. My voice is changing, but it hasn't changed that much. Food. I go, burger. I know, I already said food, but this is my list and my rules. Happiness. Sadness. Sad isn't bad. It helps you know what you care about. People. Sometimes people can be really people-y, but we need each other. Life's better with people in it. Family, friends, you. Just being alive. Sometimes we forget how it's just great to be alive. We're breathing. Some days are tough, but we got a lot to be thankful for. We just have to look for it sometimes. They say if you have food in your fridge, clothes on your back, and a place to sleep, you're richer than 75% of the world. I did not know that. So what would you add to the list? Let me know. Share this video with someone you're really thankful for. Oh, and of course, also this. Dancing! Brad and I are thankful for all of you. Seriously, thanks for giving us and the whole world a reason to dance. So what are you thankful for? Let me know. KP out. Keep going. I'll call this one.
That just makes me happy and want to cry all at the same time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. Thanks again for coming, and we'll see you at the next live update. Thanks,
Thank
team.
you all. Good night.
Love you guys. We'll see you soon.